But on April 3rd, 1968, Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King was climbing a mountain. He had gone to Memphis to speak at the Mason Temple there, which is now Church of God in Christ headquarters. But he was going there to mainly be of support for the Memphis sanitation strike. He wasn't feeling well and wanted to stay in his hotel room. But people were getting upset at the temple because they expected him to be there. And of course, it's Dr. King, so it's lots and lots and lots of people. There was also a storm going on outside. But he went. He went anyway. And he started to speak without any notes. He didn't have time. He wasn't feeling good. And toward the end, these are some of the words he stated. Well, I don't know what will happen now. We've got some difficult days ahead, but it really doesn't matter with me now because I've been to the mountaintop. And I don't mind, like anybody, I would like to live a long life. Longevity has its place. But I'm not concerned about that now. I just want to do God's will. Now here I believe Dr. King was talking about having faith. He went on to say, and he, that's God, allowed me to go up to the mountain. And I've looked over and I've seen the promised land. I may not get there with you, but I want you to know tonight that we, as a people, will get to the promised land. So I'm happy tonight. I'm not worried about anything. I'm not fearing any man. My eyes have seen the glory of the coming of the Lord. What words, what beautiful, magnificent. And he didn't prepare any notes. He was coming from that spiritual essence of who we all are. He had to be. And little did anyone knew who was there that this would be his final speech. I believe that Dr. King was climbing the mountain that day with his physical ailment, with fatigue, and a storm outside. You see, the storm was so bad that it was knocking. You know how sometimes the storm is so bad and it's kind of knocking at the windows? And because he had death threats, I read that he would just kind of, have a little something like that noise. Is this it? Can you imagine what it must have been like to have your life on the line? Can you imagine what it must have been like? And you want to stay home and rest, or at least in the hotel room and rest, and yet you can't because you're being moved forward, because you're being moved to do that which you came here to do. Can you imagine him thinking, I don't want to do that? But he had to. You see, he just wanted to be a preacher at Ebenezer Church in Atlanta. He really didn't want to get into this thing called the civil rights movement in the beginning. He said no. But it's something that moves us forward to that thing, to do the climbing up the mountain so we can look on the other side to the promised land. And he knew that it was possible. But he also knew that it was possible he would not get there. It takes faith, my friends.